So we're just expanding on our discussions from last week in relation to indigeneity and politics. Where do you call home?
For me, that's already a really complex question and one that's really difficult to answer. I don't know if it's going to be simpler for anyone in this group once you start actually thinking about where home might be. But both of my parents migrated to Australia from South Africa, and I'm the only one in my family who was born in Australia. My sister and brother, one was born in South Africa and the other in Lesotho. And I think that for my parents, they sort of arrived in Australia to get away from apartheid in South Africa, but never really thought of themselves as being permanently here, and so never instilled in me a sense of connection to Australia or a sense of home in this place. It always felt temporary and contingent. And so I think that I've been here for long enough that I have a sense that I should have developed that feeling by now, but I haven't. I sort of still feel very peripheral. But I don't really have a sense of home anywhere.
So I guess home would just be where my family is. And I guess there are a few places where I spend a lot of time and I have a lot of good memories, so I suppose I might call those home as well. But yeah, just in general where my family is. As cliche as that sounds.
I spent 35 of my first 42 years living in Perth. So to say that I don't have a pull towards Perth and that would be denying that part of myself. I guess maybe my experiences over the last few years has helped me to be able to make home wherever I am, despite that pull I will probably always have.
I was surprised at how quickly another place could become home.
So I guess the next question would be, how do you guys relate to the land? How do you relate to the environment in relation to being home?
Well, I guess when I go home, I'll go back up to the Northern Territory. The land is like, it's so different to anywhere. I've been all over the world and there's nothing like it in the world. And there's nothing better than like getting in the ute and there's like fishtailing down the road and things like that.
I didn't realise that I had a sense of connection to it until I started reading, this sounds really nerdy, but until I started reading literature through anthropology about connection to place. And I'd find that I'd be reading something and suddenly have a really visceral sense of attachment to some of the landscapes that I grew up in.
Whenever we go back home, we would be taking photographs of the fields. You know, it's just, we want to capture that moment or capture our home through those pictures. But, you know, going home and smelling the strawberries and the earthiness of the land. It's also close to the ocean. And so, you know, having all those sensory experiences makes me feel connected to my home.